bam, the 9 to 5 hit me. I'm like, I hate this. That was definitely my turning point.
And I think picking and choosing where your time goes is one of the most important things you can do. I need to lose weight. I'm changing my life.
If you truly don't enjoy your 9 to 5, chase your dreams. That's all I'm saying.
Everyone in life goes out and fucks up their life at some point in time. And you're just like, man, ah!
Welcome to the Peachcast. Yeah! Something slightly different. Usually it's like gym content, but it's the Peachcast.
Even got a sign for it and everything.
Introduce yourself, Soul.
$40 right here. So I am Aaron. Call me AP. Sometimes I go by him. It's not all the time. Very infrequently.
Another weight loss connoisseur. He's not on the internet. He's the guy really behind everything when it comes to me. Without AP, there is no Peach. Okay, you get that through your skull.
What was that?
What?
Did you say skull?
Skull. Like skull? Skull.
Very flamboyant. But anyways.
What?
Yeah. One of the best sounds in the world
100%.
is opening like a can, a carbonated can. My choice is Slate Coffee, brought to you. No, I'm just kidding. We picked these up at the store. 20 grams of protein, 120 calories.
For coffee.
I drink so much coffee. It's like protein.
Might as well get some protein in.
Might as well. But let's listen to this can crack and we're gonna rate it.
Everyone shut up!
Where's your mic? Okay, cool. We're gonna rate it 1 through 10. Ready?
That was
sucked. That's disappointing.
That's like walking on scale thinking you're gonna do good and you're gonna like lose weight, but you're like,
I don't know that feeling.
you don't know? You've never hit a plateau?
Never know it.
Oh man. What shows you, buddy?
I don't know. Let's just flow. Me and you.
All right, me and you.
Typically we talk about like success and
we're not there yet.
all that stuff. No, but it's good. It's good to like, talking on people like Alex Hormozi talks about, for example, he talks about the grind and like all the stuff he had to do, like sleeping on his gym floor for, a few months and just to make rent and all this other shit that he does. It's like, it sucks during it. Because it does, you get boring times, very boring times during the grind, whatever you're trying to do. But as he talks about, he's like, I wish some of that stuff was documented. So I don't know, maybe it's just my goal to kind of document our current selves to look back on when we're older, but also provide content for someone else in the current position that's looking to do
literally just the beginning. I think that's how I think about it. A lot of people's like tipping point is like now when it comes to social media, but like we're just getting started.
And that's a good point too, is like you look at like total followers across the board. I don't know how people measure their like social media status or whatnot.
I hate even talking about stat. Like it sounds so.
It sounds cocky. It's like it sounds cringy.
Defense. That's kind of how we measure success in a way.
I think anyone that like truly wants to be super successful, I think they all kind of measure it that way. Like status throughout the world.
Yeah.
Everyone just kind of bases their life and their level in society based off of status.
Yeah. But
like looking at, and then the realm of social media influencers, it's like what, over 1 million followers now. And it's just like, you're like, I need more. Like you said, just a starting point.
Well, that's with anything too, That's just how humans are. Let's bring it back to like weight loss. It's like you lose 100 pounds and there's still more to go. You're just like, I need more. That's just how our body is. That's just how we are as humans. There's always like goals and we reach those goals and we just like want more.
This was just a little haphazardly thrown together this morning.
Yeah, we were supposed to go to the gym. No, I'm just joking. Well, I'm going to the gym.
Yeah.
My day is always stacked. Like I have work after this, 3 o'clock to midnight. My 9 to 5. Hit it. Still doing that. That's at 3 o'clock. So doing this and working on content. And then I'm going to the gym around 1 o'clock and then take a shower at the gym, go to work till midnight. Wake up at 5 a.m. and do it all over again because I love what I do. Oh, it's exhausting, but I love it. It's the best.
On a topic of talking about working your 9 to 5, like you were kind of born and raised into that 9 to 5. Like,
yeah.
What were the key factors where one day, it just hit a point and you're like, you know what, I don't want to work a 9 to 5 anymore. I'd rather do, like my own thing and work for myself. What was like the biggest tipping point that really made you realize that?
Being able to, I know it sounds really like obviously, but like working for yourself, like you were saying, like my whole family works 9 to 5s. There's nothing wrong with it. They make really good money doing what they do. They all work in the hospital. So it's like, that's kind of how I was raised, just make good, decent money doing a 9 to 5. But working for yourself is just so much better. It just comes with so much freedom. And that's what money is. Money is freedom. What else does money do for you? It just realistically just gives you freedom.
Yeah.
And you have so much more time to do things for yourself that you actually want to do. And you could build something from it instead of just working for someone else. You could work so hard doing a 9 to 5, which I do. Like I work very hard for the company I work with. I'm still getting the same pay, right? But I could work extremely hard working on what I need to do for this company, PeachFit, and it could pay off, you know? So yeah, it comes with some risks, but I'm willing to take those risks to get to where we want to be.
But what was the major turning point? Like, what was the deciding factor that, like, one day happened, something happened, and you're like, yeah, okay, that's it. I want this so bad to never have to come back here.
I think it's how much I hate working my 9 to 5. There was a really good day that we had. It was a Friday, and don't get me wrong, we were working on our, like, you know, building our company and whatever, but it was a good day. It was just a lot of good things were happening, and I'm just like, dang, I love doing this, you know. It's a dream come true. And then I had work that day and it was just miserable throughout the whole 9 to 5. I'm just like, I hated this. I actually started crying. I actually called you.
Yeah.
And I was like, screw this. Like, I hate this job. But I've been so conservative. This is how I was raised. I was just so conservative of a person when it comes to money, where I don't want to let it go quite yet. But it's just like the emotions that day was just like really, really, really good, doing what I really, really like to do. And then bam, the 9 to 5 hit me. I'm like, I hate this.
Mm-hmm.
I hate this. And that was definitely my turning point. And I'm just like, yeah, this is what I want to do for sure. Yeah. It's also very scary though, because my whole life, even when I was overweight, I was just like, okay, I'm going to be doing this 9 to 5. Not even that. It's just like people who you were friends with before, you know, might be your girlfriend as well, or whoever you're with, family, just whatever that you are into or whatever you want when you're overweight is going to completely change when you lose the weight. Because when you lose the weight, it's not just a physical change, it's a mental change. And try being with that same woman when you lose the weight, or try being with the friends that you were friends with before when you lost the weight. Like, a lot of times it's just not compatible, especially with, you know, what you want to do with your life. That's very important. Your job, right? And I was always saying I wanted it to be this specific thing, and then now I lose the weight and I'm this completely different person. I don't want to do that anymore. So it's like I'm 16 years old again, being like, what do I want to do? I know I want to do this, but sometimes it's like a back and forth thing. Like, is it possible? Like, is it going to work out for us? I'm chasing my dreams, and, you know, without your dreams, what do you really have? So it's like, I'm going for it, but it's a scary thing. I guess you could say weight loss isn't all like super happy. Sometimes there are some times where you're just like, dang, like things have really changed.
That's life though. I mean, I think life in general, I think growing of age, and I think when you're at such a young age, you know, when I say young as to being under 40, like I think anything under 40 is young. And I am well under 40, especially for Jad, who does me. Jad, you know who you are. You always tell me I look like I'm 30. Talking about being at such a young age, when you get really large, daunting tasks, or you're doing a lot of new things for the first time, and that's it. It's all new to you because your entire life has been structured up until, you know, you graduate high school. You know what you're doing on a daily basis. Yeah. You know you're waking up, you're going to school. You have a schedule from a school that tells you what days you have off, what's due, when stuff's due. Your life is structured all the way up until the time you turn 18. And for a lot of people, their life becomes structured again because they typically go to college, or even when you get a job. I mean, your job life is structured between a 9 to 5. You know your schedule. You know you're going to wake up at this time, you have to be there by this time, you're working X and X. So it leaves you very little time for, you know, like kind of the rest of your life for freedom unless you're working just part-time, but of course you can't pay your bills part-time. So what I was gonna say is like, feels like so much has changed for you between losing weight. There's a lot of factors in there that have changed. I mean, graduating high school, losing the weight, like going to college, getting a job, like all this stuff that you've been able to do in 5 years, growing social media, starting a company, like all these things, like the amount of change that has come in the past 5 years after graduating high school or whatnot has been so significantly more momentous, like more responsibility and just in general, deeper, more life-changing things than all of high school and all of school kind of combined.
There's a lot of cool things with high school and there's a lot of crappy things. It's like high school, it's like nothing really matters. You're not gonna really learn stuff, but you're just sitting there through the lectures, not really caring. Everything else after high school, everything matters. You're on a ticking time bomb. After that, you're gonna be 40 years old with nothing that you made of your life. So it's like, time is of the essence. You gotta do something. So after high school, it definitely matters.
One thing I do wanna say is, you know, I do agree, kind of like a ticking time bomb, but you know, you're talking about like after high school. I'm sorry. Can you look at me when we talk? I just feel like it's more comfortable. I feel weird looking like that way. Yeah. I like having just turn just a little bit more to it. All right. Perfect. After high school, ticking time bomb. We were kind of talking about how things on a timeline. I agree and disagree. Yes, like things are on a ticking time bomb, but at the same time, you still have so much life left to live, you hope. You still have so much life left to live. Think about it. When you're 40 years old, right? 40 seems so far from right now. Realistically, we're closer to 40 than we are from being born.
Yeah.
Like at this point in our life. Once you hit 20, and you got 20 years backwards or you got 20 years forwards, take your pick. That's half of 40. In your adult life, you have so much change going on. Like your girlfriends, fiancés, getting married, having kids, buying a house, starting companies, getting jobs, like doing all sorts of this stuff. That's huge life-changing developments. And so it feels really full, really fast. You're like, God, I've lived so much has gone by in such a short amount of time that I think you really feel like you're gonna wake up and tomorrow is gonna be 40. And you know, in reality, for some people it does happen that way. But I think if you fill your life full of momentous decisions and opportunities and the ability to go out and achieve things and push yourself in life, I don't think it'll feel like it was as fast, but even if it does, I feel like you'll feel really accomplished in what you're able to achieve in life. And then on another note, I want to say, when you do hit 40, you're talking about when you hit 40, you know, it's like you kind of don't have anything to show for yourself. It's still not too late to change, even in your 40s. Not at all. It is never too late to actually change. The earlier you start,
maybe you're 90.
The earlier you start, the better off you will be in the long run. But even at 40, you've realistically, like at 40 is pretty much a reset back to 20. Think about it. Because when you're 20, all you think about is, fuck, I'm gonna be old at 40.
Yeah.
And then when you hit 40,
60.
You're like, fuck, I'm gonna be old at 60 or 80. But realistically, like 20 was half of your life right there. You're like, I can go back way or I can double it, you know, but either way it's split, it's equal. 20 years backwards to 20 years forwards. And that's 40. So 20 is like a momentous point. I think 40 is a momentous point because the average lifespan is around 82. So realistically at 40, you've only lived half of your life.
Realistically, like you don't remember much until you're like 6.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't even add that into the equation.
And that's what I was gonna say. So realistically, you've only had 20, 25, maybe 30 years old, and maybe 30 years of actual life at the time of 40.
Yeah.
Because you don't remember your first 10 years. You don't. There's some people out there that
can't remember what I had yesterday.
Like you don't remember your entire life from 15 on up. You know, you remember big changes and big decisions, but it's not all of it. So I think that's something that I find very interesting is that when you're hit 40, how much of your life have you really lived? From the day you're born, sure, you've lived 40 years, but how much life have you lived?
Going back to the 9 to 5, you work a 9 to 5, no problem with it. If you like I have a problem with it if you truly don't enjoy your 9 to 5. Chase your dreams, that's all I'm saying. But if you really break down things, I was watching a video, if you break down how much freedom you actually have, it's so little. Like let's say you work 40 hours a week, right? That's normal.
Yeah, that's normal.
Right? And then let's say 30 minutes to get to where you work, 30 minutes after, maybe it's more, maybe it's less, but it's just like There's 9 hours right there by the time you get home. And like, it's just when you break everything down, the actual time you have of freedom is so little. It's like out of your lifespan, I believe it's like 6 years. I think it's like so little of actual freedom you have. Whatever you do with your life, just really live in the moment is basically what I'm saying. Like even at your 9 to 5, try to, you know, enjoy the little things because it'll just run you by. You don't have much life left. It's scary.
Yeah, because there's a total of 24 hours a day out of 365 days a year. There is 8,760 hours. And off the top of my head, a 40-hour work week comes to about 2,040 hours a year that you're spending working. So you can just subtract your 2,040 hours a year. That's what you spend working, which is an 8-hour workday, let's say. So you're spending 2,040 hours just working.
Which is pretty minimum nowadays.
Pretty
like
minimum,
you need to work more than that.
But I also wanted to say, you're supposed to sleep 8 hours a day. So if you're working 40 hours a week, which is 8 hours a day, that means you're also spending 2,070 hours sleeping of that year too. So just go ahead and take off another, you know, for people that sleep more, some people sleep less. We'll just kind of round it down to.
No, you're being conservative. I say 7 hours. I say 8 hours.
We'll do. You say 8?
I say
I don't
8.
sleep 8. I don't sleep 8. I know. So I'll do 1,700 just for the mix. 1,700 hours. You're left with 5,000 hours for the entire year. Like if you take away sleeping and you take away working, you're left 5,000 hours throughout the entire year.
You go shopping, you do this, there's so many little things you're doing, and it's like, no, I don't have
You're forgetting the 30-minute commute to work that takes you an hour a day, which is 365 hours right there. Take that out, boom, there you go. You forgot the 10 minutes there brushing your teeth twice a day. I mean, that adds up. Yeah, every 3 days is 1 hour gone. So if you were to divide 365 by 3, I mean, right there. Like, anyways, time dwindles down. So be specific with what you're actually spending your quality time on. And I think picking and choosing where your time goes is one of the most important things you can do. I kind of wanted to touch on friends. You said something about friends. When you lost the weight, friends were different. And I think we have different experiences on that. We're so similar, yet so different. So you lost weight, and then you're like, man, friends just don't seem like the same that they were. And then also when you started getting your shit together.
Yeah, so it all comes down to who I was. I was the funny fat guy.
Yeah.
That was like, oh, you know, scoop. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, that's the category you're kind of put in as someone that used to be overweight. And I just don't tolerate that anymore after being who I am now. If someone did that, it would just, oh my God, I would not be very happy. But it's like before, it'd be like, like laugh it off. But all these people I used to be friends with, that's all they really did. Now that I look back, that's all they really did was just kind of like sneak diss me in a funny way. But it's like, it's still disrespectful and it still hurts at the end of the day, but you don't really think about it until I'm thinking about it now. It's like, damn, if I talk to those guys now, I'd have no problem with them, but I could never relate or correlate with who they are. The whole reason why we're friends is because I was that funny fat guy that got picked on.
Yeah, there's nothing to relate to.
Just like what they like to do, maybe at the time is what I like to do. Hey, let's go eat this, or let's go do this, or let's go do that. It's like, that's
let's go mess around at the mall, and
that's not my interest anymore. It's just not who I am. When I started going to the gym and when I started this diet is like when, you know, we kind of came, like, we're always friends.
Yeah.
We've always, I don't want to say we've had like a falling off or anything, but like we really got to a point where like, let's both change.
I think real quick, I want to take that break real quick and come back to that let's both change, because like you said, not really a fall off. I think there is times you can have multiple best friends, but there's times in your life where someone else is going to be more of a friend to you than someone else, because everyone has different life experiences and everyone has their own life to live. You and I, we were best friends from like very young. Like you used to go camping with me, like all this stuff. You were my best friend in like 8th grade, freshman year kind of stuff. Like 7th, 8th, and freshman year.
We went to Mexico.
Yeah, we went to Mexico together when we were young, like went camping everywhere and all this stuff. Spent a lot of time together. We used to ride bikes to each other's house, a few miles away from each other. It wasn't bad. We live in the middle of nowhere too, so it's like you're riding on highway.
Yeah.
And we used to just meet up in the middle. You're like, okay, I'm leaving my house. Let's ride until we meet up with each other.
Yeah.
And then we'll ride to one of our houses.
We didn't have phones, so at the time it was like home phones. So you hope the guy shows up. You know,
right.
There's no communication afterwards. You hang up that phone, you're like, all right, hopefully he shows up.
Right. Yeah. And then you get to each other's house and you're like, I think one of us passed each other. And then you can run back and then you're like, okay, is he gonna stay at my house? Yeah.
Good time.
But talking about stuff like that. And then we went through a break right after that kind of freshman year, sophomore year situation, just kind of life changes. Like my goals changed, who I wanted to be as a person was changing and developing, so was yours. You're also older than me, so it's like the older you get, the less age gap matters.
Yes, I'm older than him.
Yes. Yeah. When you're 0 and 2 years is a big age gap, you know, or I don't know how much older you are for me. I think it's 2 years or something. Yeah. You know, you had different goals, I had different goals. So we kind of separated and pulled away from each other, which is normal. Yeah. You know, but we still kind of bullshitted from time to time, said what's up. And then we had something bring us back together.
I think it was the like wanting to change.
No, it was your car crash when I showed up at the hospital. I think that was really like the switch, because like that was rough. Because like you had a bunch of people texting you, right? And then like, you know, you're like all these people that said that they were my friends.
Never seen you cry.
And it's like, because you were like, oh man, I thought I had all these friends, and then really only like 3 people showed up.
Yeah, that's the thing. Something traumatic could happen, but like your real friends will show at the time. Yeah. Like I said before, all these friends that you think you had, they won't text you like, hey, are you okay? Yeah. None of them responded. Yeah. It was you and someone else.
David.
Yeah. David. That's it. Yeah. And it's like, I thought I had all these friends. But it's like, really, those guys are just there to pick on you. Like they're not your true friends.
Well, and so
that could have, that probably brought it.
Yeah. And then from there, it was like, I remember, because I got in a breakup, and then after that breakup, like I was just wrecked.
We were both. And I think that's what it is too. It's like
at our darkest points, we met up together.
We met up together, and it's like, it's such a beautiful thing.
It is.
Because it's like, our darkest times is where we met up. I think we both made that commitment of like, dude, like we're sick of like.
Yeah, I'm tired. I'm tired of feeling like that.
I hate being mistreated. I hate this. I hate that. Like, let's do this together, man.
Yeah.
So we like literally built this whole thing, and just like being who we are now, we're like every day we're going to the gym, we're doing this, we're doing that. We're just like building who we are.
Yeah.
And it's like, now we're up to this point of just like, we're doing it. We've built such a good friendship through this whole thing, just because it's like we've met
3-4 years.
Wild. Because it's just like, we've made this commitment to bettering ourselves, and there's no better friendship than that.
No. And one thing I do want to say was that you were talking about just kind of like building it up, and how we met at the lowest points. And I just want to say to, you know, people out there that, you know, you always hear this stupid quote that like, it matters what you do today. You know, it does. Hindsight 2020, sitting here today, I would have never known that making the decision to, hey man, let's start waking up at 4 a.m. I had a very busy schedule, and I wanted to get in shape. And the only time that worked for me was 4 a.m. in my entire life. I was like, this is the only time I can find time to work out. Making the decision to, hey man, let's get together. Let's start waking up at 4 a.m. together. I'll pick you up. Let's go to the gym. Who would have thought that doing an action as simple as just waking up a few hours earlier and going to the gym would result in a landslide of positive effects?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, looking back on it, my intention wasn't like, okay, this is going to be the life changer. Like, this is going to be like...
It's just like making your bed in the morning. It's just like super simple things. And I get that question a lot on, like, why'd you start social media?
Sort of happened.
It just like sort of happened. And that's what I tell people. Like, in the very, very beginning of things, like if you want to scroll all the way to my very first video, it was literally me getting on the scale. Yeah. All I really wanted to do is, I wanted people to hold me accountable. You know, I got on the scale, and I'm just like, I think I was like 300 and something pounds. I was like 315, I think, if you scroll all the way to the bottom. And I'm just like disappointed. I just wanted people to hold me accountable, and people did, and they were very nice about it. It's just like, it picked me up having like that support system, and I had him. He was a really good support system. Like, doing all this, it just like helped me. And that's kind of how it all came about. But obviously times changed. Like, then I started like really transforming my body, and people are wondering how to do it and what'd you do and blah, blah, blah. And obviously things change. You're like, I want to help these people. Like, I really want to help these people. And that's kind of how PeachFit came about as well. Just got done with finishing up that program. That was very proud of it. And yeah, that's actually how PeachFit came about, was a support system. I wouldn't have done it without this guy. This guy lost how much from your heaviest to your lightest?
315 to 210, so about 105 pounds.
So it's like, I can't speak for you, but I don't think, could you have done it without me? And I don't think I could have done it without you. It's just like one of those things where our support.
No.
Yeah,
it was, you know, because it was interesting because we started it together. And I remember we started going to the gym and I was like, I need to lose weight. I'm changing my life. Because who actually got me started was Scott. I owe Scott a big thank you. And Scott's another one of my best friends. Because when I got in my breakup, Scott was there. He was like,
I remember that.
Like, he was at my house every day, like dragging me out of bed. I was sleeping on the floor because I was living together with the woman and we ended up moving out, and like it was her bed frame and everything like that. So I slept on the floor for a good while, And Scott would come over and you gotta like get up, you gotta like come with me and do something. And I was so bad. I was so wrecked as a person that I remember him like bringing me out to parties and trying to get me to go and do stuff. I was just so pessimistic, dude. I don't know how he put up with it, but every day he would come over and be like, hey, what are you doing? Like, we're going places. We're gonna go shopping today. We're gonna go to the movies. We're gonna go and do this. And then he was like, you need to change. You need to start going to the gym. And then we started going to Planet Fitness. And then when he left to college, I was like, I really liked having someone. And then I was like, Jacob, me and you, dude.
Yeah, and I think that's when I started, or maybe you pushed me.
Yeah. And then you started going to the gym, and I remember, because we went to the gym for about a year, and you were like, I don't want to lose weight. I'm happy with who I am. And you're like, I just like lifting heavy. And then
I was just so in the dumps about other things.
You had a lot going on. You had a lot going on at that time. And then we went to Topgolf.
Oh my God.
That was I remember coming.
Without even him saying it, I know exactly what he's gonna say.
And
I can't believe that.
we went to Topgolf, had a good time with a couple of buddies. And you know, I got you drunk because I like feeding you liquor. And I remember you just like crying to me on the way home. You're like, dude, I need help. I want to change. Like, I want to be something more than who I am. Like, I don't want to be this person. And that's when we got to work. And
yeah,
I think that was.
You took a video, and like it was all out of like, you know, you're just having a good time with the boys.
Yeah.
You took a video of me golfing.
Yeah.
And I remember like watching it on your story.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no way, that's me. I remember the feeling of just like, that's me. Like, I was so disgusted.
Yeah.
And at this point, this guy's already lost like a lot of weight. And I was like, dude, I need your help. And then that's kind of how we like started working and working out together and everything. But meal planning and yada yada.
Right.
You know, get to work. So it's like, wow, you know.
And it's like, it's crazy because, you know, it seems like so long ago, but it wasn't. You know,
it was like 2 years ago. A little over 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But it's like,
so much has happened.
When
When
you put blinders on and you're like, these are my goals and nothing else matters. It's like time isn't even. It's like so quick.
Yeah.
Like from me being overweight to now, it's like. It seemed like yesterday I was overweight. That's why I have like all these like stories and shit. It's just like, God, I could always talk about these fat stories, man.
One thing I want to say, I want to wrap back to friends. Because I think friends is a touchy subject for me because I had a few really, really, really close friends to me that just like are no longer a part of my life from high school. You know, I had some very close friends, two specifically. Well, I guess three if you want to count my ex, but I had three friends that I thought like I would bring with me through my life and would be like momentous people, and they all ditched me, every single one of them. When shit got rough and like I started going down to like, you know, like life was just getting harder for me, they all left. So the only people I really had were like you and Scott and Wayne. And then like, of course, Wayne's overseas, so he was always busy. So it was just like you and Scott. And then one thing I do gotta say is friends, specifically friends. A true friend is someone that will not judge you for the actions you make, no matter how harsh they might be, no matter how fucked up they will be. And I'm not saying like you purposely go and like murder people and they're like, it's okay. No, I'm saying like, it's okay. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone in life goes out and fucks up their life at some point in time. And I think a true friend will say, look, let's get you back on track, keep you accountable. This is what you do. Hey, dude, like what you're doing, It doesn't seem like it's the greatest road for you to go down. Let's get you back on track. But I want you to know that I'm here for you. So slap you aside the head and be like, let's fucking go. Let's
You're being a lot nicer than you would actually be. If I actually went and did something that you're just like, you'd be like, Jacob, what are you doing?
Yeah. I'd beat the fuck out of you. I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? True friends are always gonna be there for you. They're never gonna judge you. I can tell you anything. I think I've told you all of my darkest secrets, and like, no judgment. Like, a friend is someone that you're able to just say whatever to, be yourself, feel totally content, and just be there for it. And they're always going to support you and be there for you.
You sent me that turd not too long ago.
I did. I did. The same goes for relationships in general. I want to say that too, for relationships in general. If you feel like you're putting up a front or trying to be someone else around someone, don't.
It's almost so hard though when you're overweight.
It's
almost so hard because you're not who you're supposed to be. You're not that part, like,
right?
You're just putting up a front because there's no one else. You can't be the sporty guy.
Yeah.
You can't be the good looking guy.
Nope.
You are simply like, you have to be put in the funny position. That's all I know.
And it's like,
and so you're putting up a front.
Yeah.
And it's so mentally draining because that's not who you're supposed to be.
Yeah. When you lay down at night and you're just tired of being you all day and you're just like, God, finally, like, I'm alone. Because I remember, like you said, hindsight 2020, like, if you're overweight and like really obese, you don't know realistically how you feel about being overweight, which sounds really like weird, but it does.
Until you lose the weight.
You lose the weight, because you don't have the perspective having that weight loss.
Unless you were in shape before.
Yeah, and then got really fat.
But I've always been overweight.
Yeah.
And it's like, I came out the womb almost 11 pounds. Like, I was always overweight.
It's all that head.
It's just like big old noggin.
Those big ass arms.
It's just like my whole life. It's like, I was always this big kid. I didn't know I was treated really bad until after I lost the weight.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like, I don't even want to talk to those people I used to talk to, because just they're such assholes.
You can't even relate to them too. That's what, sorry, I wanted to circle back to that too. Friends is a touchy subject for me, I guess. Apparently I want to circle back to it all the time. But talking about those friends, like Jacob was talking about, trying to relate to them. If, like, you try to go and hang out with people that you once were friends with, and it's just like you said, when you put blinders on and you really decide to totally just change your life, like if you want something, you have to, there's sacrifice. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You will have to sacrifice something to gain something else. There's a trade-off, always. But what's worth it? Losing like fake friends for infinite potential success, or losing infinite potential success for fake friends? Take your pick. I remember cutting out everyone. Like, when I really decided, I was like, you know what, I need to like obtain something in my life and do something with my life and just be someone. I put blinders on to anyone and every single person and thing that did not move me forward in my goals. Doesn't matter. And to this day, still doesn't matter. If you're not benefiting me in some way, shape, or form,
what are you doing?
What are you doing?
And that seems really not cocky, but it seems like,
seems douchey.
Yeah, that's a better word.
Does.
But it's like, realistically, what are friends for? It's some kind of, it's supposed to do you good in some way, having a friend, right? So it's like, that's what he means by it.
Yeah.
I don't know if people picked up on that.
Yeah, it's a two-way door. Like, and that's, again, friendship. Like, you benefit me, I benefit you.
Yeah.
But if I have someone like, for example, if I'm like, dude, let's go to the gym, let's get in shape, let's create a business, you know, let's go do all this stuff, let's go buy Lambos, drive Ferraris, like make $1 million, all this shit, and they're like, I don't know, dude, I just want to go to the bar. And it's
I know those people.
And you're just like, man, I don't want to go to the bar. What does drinking get me? I'm spending money, I'm poisoning my body. Like, I haven't achieved anything. And not only that, it's almost embarrassing going to just some random hole-in-the-wall bar. Like, if I want to go to the bar and have a night where you just party, I want to be so successful that I can rent out a club in Vegas. Like, I want rooftop clubs, like stuff like that. And once you get a taste of that, it's like, there's no turning back once you do something like that. And you're like, okay, going to the bar every weekend doesn't make going to the bar special anymore. I remember the first time I went to a bar, I was like, oh my gosh, like I turned 21. I was like, oh, cool, a bar. Like, it was cool.
Yeah.
And then it just becomes a regular thing. If you give into temptation constantly, temptation just becomes normality. So it no longer has the sweetness of the fruit.
Good way to put it.
Yeah. So pick your friends, make sure they benefit you, make sure you benefit them, and put those blinders on and get to work. I think that's definitely a big one there.
We should just wrap it there, dude.
We're gonna throw all of our sponsors.
We're gonna throw all of our sponsors in right here at the end. So this video is brought to you by Alpha Lion. Code PEACH in checkout for 15.
PEACH.
PEACH in checkout
Peach.
for 15% off. Also, check out PeachFit, our weight loss company, doing some crazy things there. I got a pretty good program, excellent program from what I think actually. I mean, spent a lot of time riding that bad boy between two of us making videos, and community is the biggest thing. If you're looking for somewhere that's gonna keep you accountable,
We do giveaways.
we do giveaways on everything like that. We have a Discord community and they're talking to you all of your answers and questions. And not only that, if you're looking to make an actual genuine change in your life, PeachFit. That being said, thank you for watching the very first episode of
Peachcast.
PeachFit's good though.
PeachFit, yes.